Hey parents, this is Jeff, and I'm back again, this time with a family game that you can play to help your child continue the journey to find and follow Jesus. And this game is called the Unforgivable card. You're going to need just a couple things for this game. One is something for the teams to throw, because you're going to split into a couple teams here. Like I've got bean bags here around the buildings. That bean bags would be perfect. But anything beanbag-like in your house is perfect. Something that you're going to be able to throw and be able to land on something. So a ball is probably not going to work, but anything kind of soft and fluffy that you could throw, maybe some stuffed animals if you don't have bean bags, something like that. And then I'm going to share on Facebook and also by email something called the Unforgivable cards. And these are targets. So you just get these things, you cut them apart, and I'll explain what these are all about in just a second. Now, this week in our Kids Church experience, we learned that forgiveness God does not lack. To Him you can always go back. It was all about going back and seeking forgiveness from God, who always promises to forgive us, and from others, because sometimes kids are afraid to go back to parents or friends when they've messed up, and we want to encourage them that you should always go back and look to make those relationships right. Now, to start this activity, you're going to say something to your kids like, it's easy to ask for forgiveness when you do something small that you are sure someone will forgive. But when you make a big mistake, you might get scared that it is simply unforgivable. Have you ever made a mistake that you were worried that wouldn't be forgiven? And then go ahead and volunteer that, yeah, I have. I hurt someone's feelings. I did something that I thought someone wouldn't forgive, and allow your kids to respond to that as well. But then say today that you've got a game for them to play. In this game, you're going to have to be careful not to make the unforgivable mistake. And you're going to show them that you've got all these cards. I would have them set up in kind of a grid, maybe on one end of the room. And I would have something dark covering them so that your kids can't read the words through the paper as it lays on the floor. And you're going to tell your kids that on these cards, some of them have points, some of them have point multipliers, some of them might have consequences like losing some points or even losing a turn, but there's one card that's going to say unforgivable, and that is the error that cannot be forgiven. If your team throws your beanbag or whatever your thing is onto that card, they automatically lose. And then you're going to split in a couple teams, and you're just going to take turns tossing a beanbag and trying to get it to land on one of the targets. And there's going to be 16 targets for these to land on. And as they land there, just one by one, just pick up the card and just add that to your team's pile. And then you can add up and multiply points at the end. Now, here's the thing. There really isn't a card that says unforgivable on it. There is no unforgivable card. And so when you get to the end of these 16, your kids are going to realize there was no unforgivable card. So first of all, total up the points, congratulate the winning team. Maybe you've got a treat or something lined up for them. But then say, hey, it looks like nobody hit the unforgivable card. Was there an unforgivable card? And the obvious answer is no, there was not an unforgivable card. You can say, that's right, the unforgivable card wasn't there. There was no chance of you becoming unforgiven because there was no unforgivable card. And that is a lot like life. In life, we make mistakes. Some mistakes might be small, some mistakes might be huge, some mistakes we might not expect. But no matter what kind of mistakes we make in life, no matter what sin we make in life, we can count on the fact that God will always be willing to forgive us. There is nothing that we can do that would be considered unforgivable. Just like there was no unforgivable card in the game, there are no unforgivable sins. God will always forgive us. We just need to repent and go back to God and ask for that forgiveness. And then do the best that we can to follow His Son, Jesus. Just because there are no unforgivable sins, it doesn't mean that we just get to keep doing whatever we want. We have to actually make an attempt to follow Jesus. But when we make mistakes, we can always know that there is nothing that will be unforgiven. You know what? This is a great opportunity as well for you as parents to let your kids know that there's nothing that they can do that you would ever choose to not forgive them too. Just like God forgives us, I suspect that there's nothing that your kids could do that would lead you to not forgive them. And so remind them that your love for them is just like God's love for them. You will always, always be willing to forgive. I hope you have a lot of fun playing the Unforgivable card game this week and helping your kids continue their journey to find and follow Jesus. Bye-bye.